It might not. Hopefully that's recording. Yeah. Typical. Got it. Apologies. It's always Vicky's fault. So what we're going to do now, we're going to come into downward facing dog. It is Vicky's birthday this week, everybody. So I know. So we're going to come here into all fours. I'm going to show you a really neat way of getting into downward facing dog. What we're going to do is the following. We're going to really push into our hands. We're going to come into a flow in a minute and warm up. I want just this foundation first. Okay, we're going to tuck the toes at the back. All right, as we are coming up, we're going to keep the knees bent and we're going to push through the hips. Really push the hips to the sky and bring your belly to the chest. So we're coming into a really funny position, sticking out our bum into the air. But then what I want you to do, keeping the shoulders activated, I want you to now then allow the legs to stretch as far as they are comfortable. And that's really important. Okay, so I'm going to go through that again. We'll come to all fours, and lots of people in here have done many, many hundreds of downward facing dogs, but we're going to just work from all fours here. Tuck the toes, hips to the sky, keeping the chest towards the thighs. So we're not really lifting into that downward facing dog. Plant those hands, feel the shoulders activate, so push the mat away from you. And as you do that, I want you to start to stretch and straighten the legs until it feels okay for you. They might not be straight, the knees might be bent. And you might find then, relaxing the neck with the gaze towards the knees, that you get a downward facing dog that feels a bit more comfortable. And there's certainly some better shapes actually in here. Brilliant. And if you want those hips to lift a bit higher, then just bend the knees a little more, push the sit bones up into the air, and then allow the back of the legs just to relax a little. Heels do not need to go to the mat. Allow yourself to relax the neck. Breathing, inhale. Exhale, draw the core and the belly, almost if you're drawing the core up and into the spine. Inhaling again. And exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Take a look at the front of the mat, bend the knees, back with the thighs and the belly towards each other, as if you're about to pounce and either hop, float, or step to the top of the mat, bringing the feet hip width apart underneath the shoulder, the hip points, and come to a fold here. Allow yourself to bend the knees. We're warming up here. Allow yourself to bring that belly all the way to the thighs. You're almost sitting into this forward fold. Allow the head to hang. Take the hands gently to the elbows and maybe sway just gently side to side. Bring the hands to the hips, push through the feet. Allow yourself to hinge at the hips. Draw yourself very slowly all the way up into mountain pose. Let's find our roots. Brilliant. Allow yourself to really plant the feet. You might have your feet together. You might give yourself a little bit more space to balance, and your feet might be shoulder width apart. It's totally up to you where you want to be. We're going to give some bounce to the legs. Inhale as we sweep the hands all the way up high, upward salute. We're going to bring the palms together overhead. Inhale, exhale across to your right hand side. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, and you can bend this forwards a little bit so it comes across to the side. Inhale all the way up. Bring the hands and the elbows behind you, draw the neck gently down. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way up again. Exhale, sink to chair, Utkatasana. To sit into this, allow the hands forwards. And then what we're going to do, we're going to draw the hands up. We're going to just engage the core, tuck that tailbone. Stay a little longer here. And then we're going to fold on an exhale. Uttanasana, sorry. Utkatasana to Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Hands come either to the mat or the shins, wherever's comfy for you. So we've got a number 7 shape. Hands plant, shoulder width apart, step to plank. So feet to the back of the mat. If you're practicing plank and you're just needing a modification, bring the knees down gently. If not, hands underneath the shoulders, gaze to the front of the mat, push into the heels, push away from the mat. That's it. And make sure if we're looking forwards, we just take that gaze down a little bit to the front of the mat, and that will allow your neck just to be in line with your body. Keep breathing here. And then we're going to bring down to all fours, tuck our toes, push the hips up to the sky, coming to downward facing dog. Allow yourself to push through the hands, activate the shoulders, allow the legs to stretch, the drishti to come through, so the gaze to come through towards the knees. Bend the knees. Again, look forwards as if you're going to pounce to the top of the mat. You can step or you can hop into a little forward fold. Bring your head down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale all the way down. Sweep, push through the feet, sweep the hands all the way out to the side, all the way up, upward salute. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, lift all the way up. Sink to Utkatasana, chair. So we're going to allow ourselves to just drop into that nice big captain's chair. See if you can lift open the chest a little bit more. So keeping the hands a little bit closer towards you, Christian. That's it. That's lovely. And as we come forwards, we're going to place the hands, leave the right foot at the top of the mat, and step to a low lunge. We're going to bring the knee all the way down. Left hand is going to plant on the mat, and that right hand is going to sweep forwards. And then we're going to just take some circles. Now, if you need to bend the elbow, you can do, or you might be able to sweep a little bit of power into this. You might want to take the knee off the mat. So you've got options here. Use that breath just to work the body here. And then hover that arm forwards as if you're going to shake someone's hand. And what I want you to do is I want you to push into that front heel now. So you can really feel that the leg is taking the weight here. And make sure that knee is stacked over the ankle. So we've got, and push into the heel. So now you should feel that your lower body is really working quite hard here. Even bring your hands to fingertips if that helps. Keep breathing here. And then plant the hands, step to plank. Take a moment in plank, so find that foundation. Inhale, and as you exhale, draw the belly and the ribs up and into the body. We're going to vinyasa. So if you have a full chaturanga to upward facing dog, that's perfect. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. If you haven't, follow me. We're going to bring the knees down. We're going to just push the hips back slightly. We're going to scoot our way all the way down to the mat. That's it. Keeping the elbows towards the back of the mat into a little cobra. Excellent. Push back down, tuck the toes. We're on our way to downward facing dog. So you can still keep the knees on the mat. Lift the hips to the sky, activate the hands, the shoulders, and allow yourself to come into downward facing dog. Step to the top of the mat into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend the knees if you want to just soften the lower back. Inhale, flat back, hands come to the shins. Exhale, push into the heels, soften the knees. I want you to inhale, hands can come to the hips. Inhale, and on the exhale, draw the core in. And then inhale. And then draw the ribs right into the body. And then push through the heels and gently lift yourself all the way up. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale all the way up to the sky. Exhale, sink to Utkatasana, to chair. Take a moment here. So let's engage the core again. As you engage the core and tuck the abs in, you should feel your tailbone just slightly tuck under. So open just gently the arms. Into a fold, plant the hands. We're going to take the left foot at the top of the mat now, stepping into either your runner's lunge here, or you can drop the knee and soften. You can also draw the foot flat at the back of the mat if that's comfy for you, whatever's comfy. Hand can either fingertips or palm, and we're just going to take this left arm all the way through. Inhaling, slow movement. And depending on your shoulder mobility, you might wish to bend at the elbow. We're going to step to plank. Step all the way through. And here we're going to come all the way down to forearms. The forearms come to the mat. You can either keep the forearms kind of in line with each other. If it's really tricky, bring the knees down. You can also just draw and clasp the hands together, pushing through those heels. Keep that body in line with each other. That's it. Keep the breath moving. And then bring yourself back up to plank. Plank feels like a little rest then. And just while we're here, we can take the right knee across to the elbow and then the right knee to the left elbow and just swing gently back and forwards. Back into plank, come down to the knees into child's pose at any point if you wish. So I'm taking the right knee and just gently back and forwards like a little pendulum. And then opposite side, whenever you're ready. Just working back and forwards here. So I brought that knee underneath me. And it's just going side to side. And if you need a break, bring yourself down into an active child's pose, drawing the hips to the heels, and allow yourself just to sink back. Arms might be outstretched, arms might be behind you, just tucked into the feet, wherever you are. Just taking a moment, core should feel like it's waking up slowly. Taking a breath. And then back to that plank position. You can also do this in forearms. If you want to come off the wrists, we can play with this core movement here. So we can draw this knee across to the right elbow. We can draw it under to the left elbow. And we can step back. You can just take your time doing this, squeezing that knee up and into the body. Just even on both sides, really careful and gentle. And then taking a moment if you need by just stretching back. Bless you. Stretching into child's pose if you want to take a moment. And then rising back up, we're going to come to all fours. We're going to tuck our toes. We're going to go to downward facing dog, just anchoring the hands, activating the shoulders by pushing the body away from the mat, bringing the chest towards the thighs, and slowly allow the legs to straighten, relaxing the neck and the head towards the knees. Looking forwards, we're going to come all the way to the top of the mat, straight into that halfway lift. Now, if you want to, with the halfway lift, you can bring your hands to your shins. I've been enjoying straightening the back of my legs recently. So I'm just bringing my hands to the mat, straightening my legs, but allowing my weight over my feet. So it's up to you where you are in this practice. Fold as we exhale. I want you in this fold to inhale. And on the exhale, draw the ribs and the core in. And inhale again. Exhaling, drawing the core and the ribs in again. You can always soften the knees in this forward fold. And then allow your feet to anchor, hands to come to the hips, soften the knees, anchoring and lifting up slowly, allowing yourself a moment in mountain. Bring the hands gently to the sides. Inhaling, lift. Hands come to high prayer. Inhale, lengthen through the front body. Exhale across to your right hand side and a little bit forwards. It gives a side stretch all the way down the side of the body. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale across the other way. Inhale. Exhale, sink to chair. Take the hands gently into the heart now, still in chair. So in chair, I want you to inhale, exhale the core, draw the core in, tuck that tailbone in, maybe sink a little lower. Now we're going to exhale, inhale and exhale. And as we do, we're going to take a turn across. So I'm going to just do it across to your left-hand side. So inhale, exhale across. Now, if you want to, you can try and catch the back of the arm here with the back of the leg. If not, you can keep it quite open. We're going to step back with our left foot. So we're going to step back all the way into a little balance here, revolved balance, revolved lunge. Have I just mixed and muddled everything? Yeah. You were, I've just muddled you totally. It's a twist. I'm going across my body. Inhale all the way. We're into high lunge, hands to prayer, and bring the hands in front of you. So we've got this extended high lunge. Hands are going to come down. We're going to step to plank. Now you've got choices now how to come into downward facing dog. You can now come in from plank to downward facing dog. But as you do, really push that chest towards the thighs, allowing yourself to draw the legs up. Now you're going to take the foot that you were leading with, because everyone's slightly different, and that foot that you were leading with in that high lunge, you're going to take it underneath the other side. So I was leading with my right foot. I'm going to take it to my left onto the other side. I'm going to push into the side of that foot, and you can either stay here or you can open up the left hand into a fallen triangle. It's a side plank variation. You don't have to, we can work with it. We're going to come back with the hands to the mat, and you're going to draw that leg underneath you into a little pigeon. Okay, so the leg is now forwards. That's it. It's all right. We'll do it a couple of times, Joe. So we're in a little pigeon here. Now, the side that my knee is bent, I'm going to take my opposite hand and it's going to point towards that knee. And I'm coming into a very gentle twisted pigeon here. Depending on how twisted you want to be, you can bring the right hand to the top of the spine, but please, yoga doesn't hurt. So into a little twisted pigeon here. Bring the hands forwards. And we're going to sit on that hip now. And we're going to draw ourselves into little half butterfly. So we're now, that's it. We're all facing, oh, look at that. Nearly, not quite. Into little half butterfly. I'm on, don't worry, it's not a circular flow, Amanda. Ish. We're going to take ourselves here, really lengthen through the spine, really push through that extended leg, push that leg and tuck the toes towards you, really activating here. Then the knee that's bent, we're going to lift up so it's facing the ceiling. We're going to draw the hand, the arm inside and come into a little variation of a twist here. Andy, sorry, you're new and I've kind of gone off on one. So your right knee, if you bend your right knee, that's it. And your right arm comes inside your right knee. Keep that spine upright and you've got the beginnings of a sage twist. We're going to roll all the way forwards. Hands are going to plant the mat. We're going to step back to plank, straighten ourselves out, push into plank, take a little vinyasa. We've not done many of those tonight. So take a full chaturanga or knees down and then into baby cobra if you wish. Exhaling, meeting in downward facing dog. Take a gaze towards the front of the mat, step towards the top of the mat into a little fold. Inhale immediately into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Take a breath here in this fold, inhaling. Exhaling, drawing the core and the ribs really into the body, really activate them. Sweep the hands up and forwards as we bend the knees. We're coming into chair, Utkatasana. Now the side that you didn't lead with. On my first session with you, I've muddled right and left. There was a little resolution. I always break them, by the way. So there we are. We're going to come into hands to the heart. So now you're going to twist the side that you weren't twisting on last time because they were all in rights and lefts. Tuck that arm if you wish to the leg, or you can still hover it. Step, so come to your tiptoes on that free leg and step it back into a little lunge. Well done. Catching the back of the arm if you want to. If you have an extension, you're always welcome to take an extension here. Really push into that heel at the front and the heel at the back. We're going to bring our hands gently to the mat. Step into plank, straighten out. Moving into downward facing dog. So anchoring the hands, activate the shoulders, chest to thighs, straighten hips to the sky, and just gently stretch the legs as far as they're comfy. Opposite side now. I'm going to, for me, it was my left leg under my right hand side to the side of that left foot, pressing the side of that left foot into the ground. If that's where you are, that's fine. You might be able to take the weight and allow yourself into a falling triangle, the other side, keeping either that hand at the top slightly forwards or in line with the body, not behind you. Bring that hand down, tuck the knee underneath you now. So that knee comes to the side of the mat. So is that your right? Yes, so no, it's fine, don't worry, ignore me. I've confused everyone in class. So the knee comes and sink that leg at the back, lengthen it at the back, coming into pigeon. So the knee, so the side that your knee is on, so if it's left-hand side, it should be towards the left-hand side of the mat. So left knee, left side of the mat, right knee, right side of the mat, depending on which way you are. And then opposite arm comes in front. So it's parallel with the top of the mat. And you can either gently push into that arm or you can bring the hand towards the back, the lower back. Just breathing into the stretch. I'm going to bring my hands all the way to the front of the mat now, and I'm going to sit now on my hip. So now that foot that was underneath me comes into that butterfly. So that foot is the one that comes into the body in butterfly. Really activate the leg that is extended. You can always, if you want to, you can take the hands gently behind you, open the chest, look gently to the sky. Bring the knee to the sky, arm inside the knee. Little twist here. That's it. Keep that spine nice and lengthened. Those who are new to class, I do go off on a bit of a random exploration of the mat sometimes. Yeah, okay, well, I'll take that. And then all the way forwards, we're going to crawl all the way to the front of our mat. We're going to come into plank. Now, if you want to, you can try a little bit of a chaturanga if you're working up to the practice, but at any point you feel strain on the shoulders, bring the knees down. So you can still do the vinyasa with the knees down and scoop forwards, or you can pretend you're Concord and you can keep the knees into the body and keep the body in line. And then when you get to a tipping point, you can come up and over on the front into an up dog. And then back into downward facing dog. Bend those knees, hips to the sky, chest towards the thighs. Walk the legs out. Inhaling and exhaling. Knees all the way down to the mat. Bring your feet to one side. We're coming into a seated position. You need to be in the middle of your mat. So bring yourself into the middle of the mat. Excellent. Oh, we've got loads of time, right? We're going to bring the legs straight. Otherwise, I could just go off on another one. And I'm thinking, oh. So legs come into Dandasana. In Dandasana, just tuck the tailbone gently underneath you. So you're sat, so you've got a real place to put the hands depending on the length of your body and torso. Really push the back of the legs into the mat. Just take a breath here. A thought. And then what I want you to do is I want you to point your right hand foot, hover it on the mat, and I want you to lift it and maybe bend the knee a bit and bring it into the body. Point to the top of the mat and draw it in. Point to the top of the mat, draw it in. Place it down, left hand side, so flex the foot, hover, draw it in. Use that breath that we've been working on. So the exhale, you draw that knee in, inhale, leg out, exhale, draw the core and the ribs in, really supporting that. All the way back. Now I want you to bring yourself into a boat position. So I want you to have feet, so modified boat, hands gently behind us. And we're just going to take a moment here. And then we're going to bring the shins to the sky. Inhale, exhale, extend the leg. Inhale, bring it towards you. Slightly different. Exhale, the opposite leg, supporting the pose. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now you can stay here, or you can now place. This is where I start to give you options. So if you've got a block, and please, the thing with boat is that I don't want you to round your lower back. So this is about supporting. This is about the chest being open, the arms being open, the core being engaged. And yes, there's a bit of softness in the back, but we're not slumping into this pose. Lower backs are very precious things. So always modify. So you might be literally threading with the feet moving back and forwards, okay? Which is still a really good exercise to do. You can pretend you can have a mobile phone or water bottle or whatever you want to do, okay? You might wish to just play with a little bit of a boat here. You may have a full boat pose where, I don't know if the back allow, where you can come into, it's not going to today, where you can come into a full boat. Or you might want to be playing with a little bit of a low boat to a high boat. So you've got a few options here. If you shake, it's absolutely fine. That's just you working hard. And if you want to take a little kind of pause from it, then butterfly, I've naturally come into little butterfly pose. So that gives me a nice stretch through the hip flexors, just gentle with your lower back cushion, bring yourself up. So you can play, you might even want to tap. You might have a boat pose and you're playing with boat pose and you can hold boat pose. If you rock, make sure you've got space to rock backwards. I always love the threading because it gives you something to play with. And everything's slow and deadly. Not fast and quick and easy. Don't hold that breath. If you're holding that breath, then just allow it to, or you to just relax for a bit. And we're going to come up and then we're going to come to our backs. So we're going to roll down gently. Just allow yourself to roll down. And take a moment here on your back. Maybe even take the feet out to the side of the mat and allow the knees to come together. Constructive rest pose is a really wonderful place to be, just to allow the body just to take a breath. Just notice how you're feeling. Notice how the breath is. And then maybe take the knees up and into the chest. Maybe give them a hug. You might want to rock. It might be that you want to circle the knees, just massaging that lower back, or it might just be the knees are just gently into the body. Just allow yourself a moment here. Going back to that constructive rest pose where the feet are as wide as the mat. You can drop the knees back and forwards one at a time, which gives us a little supine rock, little supine twist. And then gently allow yourself a moment with the breath, either the knees together or stretch the legs long. Just allowing yourself to bring the breath back just to a natural rise and fall. Just allowing a moment. If you're at home, please feel free to take an extended Shavasana and just take a moment. The video will stay on, it doesn't matter, just because we've got Yin next, but you're just very welcome just to keep that relaxation going. If you're in class, just allowing sighs of ease just to kind of wave over the body. Taking a moment. And then either you can take a bit of a dynamic move and you can rock and roll all the way up to seated, or you can gently come to your side and bring yourself back up to Sukhasana and join me. And our little flow that we started tonight, I'll extend that next week. So we'll just keep adding 2 bits and pieces. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining class. It was lovely to see some new faces. I know some are staying for Yin. And thank you. It's January. How can it be January? It's nice to see everybody online as well. That's good. And for those in Koboki and local, I'm adding, so Chrissy, this might be for you or any friends that you know. On a Tuesday, I'm doing a pop-up yoga session for a few weeks in my house. There's 5 places. So it's a Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And it's going to be restorative hatha, but with a workshop approach. So it's just a bit of fun. And I've already got one of the spaces gone. So it's there if anyone local wants it. So there we are. Cool. Right. I'm going to get ready for Yin. Nice to see you, Claire. And it was nice to see your pal as well, Chrissy. So that's brilliant. So it's nice to see lots of people practicing. Excellent.
Just giving it a go before she comes.
I can't hear you unless I take the mic off, Chrissy.
Oh, okay.
Message me and I'll know. That's it. Cool. So, Yin, were you all right? Were you like, I'm just going to stop record, by the way. There we are.